Good morning and welcome to the program. Evan Bray, it's good to have you here on this Monday morning. You know, tobacco use continues to be the leading cause of preventable death in Saskatchewan and across Canada. And recently, we just talked about this last week, the federal tobacco settlement has brought new funds into our province and provinces across Canada. You might remember last week we had the Minister of Health for Saskatchewan, Jeremy Cockrell, on the program talking about that. Many health organizations, including Lungs Saskatchewan, are raising concerns about how that money will be used, how much of it is earmarked to maybe cancer prevention or specific work aimed at reversing the negative effects that tobacco and smoking can cause amongst our population. New research, by the way, showing that vaping should not be recommended as a safe way to quit smoking. It raises further questions about what is the best way to support people who want to stop using tobacco. And as we head into the fall and winter months, another important lung health issue becomes the focus on radon exposure and radon gas in homes. So we have a lot we can talk about with our friends from Lung Saskatchewan, and I've got two guests joining me this morning. Erin Kuan is with us. She is the CEO of Lung Saskatchewan. Erin, thanks so much for joining the show.
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me.
Also happy to have Kerri Mossing join us. Kerri is an ambassador for Lung Saskatchewan and has a bit of a personal journey that has led her into the role that she plays. Kerri, thank you for taking our call.
Thank you.
So maybe, Erin, we'll start with you as CEO of Lung Saskatchewan. Can you give us an idea of the impact you think this federal tobacco settlement money could make in our province if it was earmarked appropriately?
For sure. Thank you so much. So yeah, this is an unprecedented amount of money that is now flowing through to the provinces. So just at the very end of August, all provinces began to receive the very first installment of funds. So, for example, Saskatchewan is set to receive approximately $700 million over the next several years, and they would have received about 140 plus just at the end of August. And so while these funds, we know because of accounting, you have to have these flow directly into a general revenue fund. What we are really hoping for is a commitment from the province to direct those funds directly to reduce tobacco use in Saskatchewan. And while there was some indication early on by many of the provinces across the country, we're now at the point where we would love to see some concrete plans come forward and included in budgets for the next few years. So
you I think, probably caught part of my chat with Jeremy Cockrell last week, yes, the Minister of Health. What did you think of his answer? If I'm remembering right, he summarized by saying all of the money, so the $700 million over 20 years, I believe it is, will be earmarked for health care. Not all of it specific to cancer research, cancer prevention, but a portion of it would go there. Are you happy with that answer?
Well, I was really thrilled to hear that he was speaking about the entire $700 million going directly to healthcare. I think that's fantastic. What we are asking for is just to have even a very small percentage. So in context of the numbers, even if we were to direct under 5%, so which would be
35 mil.
Yes, yeah, like even less than $5 to $7 million per year towards a really strong and robust tobacco or nicotine reduction strategy. We know that that investment has over a 20-to-1 return on investment in preventing healthcare disease and costs upon the province.
And anytime we're chatting today, by the way, with Erin Kuan, who is Lung Saskatchewan CEO, but anytime you can show that sort of return on investment dollars, it's a great thing it's great talking points for a provincial government. What would, in your mind, a tobacco strategy look like? Can you just give us some basic elements, Erin, that you think would need to be in there?
For sure. And I would say Lung Saskatchewan, alongside of our partners from Canadian Cancer Society and Heart and Stroke, were really pleased to meet with Minister Cockrell back in the spring to start talking about exactly that. What could a really strong framework start to look like? So we are very hopeful that we will be able to meet with him again. And we have just recently provided a draft framework for that. So a really strong framework, of course, includes elements of prevention, education, and protection. And so prevention, of course, we have a really significant opportunity to even prevent a future generation from taking up smoking right now. And you referenced it, Evan, the vaping is really becoming an epidemic amongst young people. And tobacco, nicotine retailers are directly targeting youth. So we need to really strengthen our protection, our licensing, all of those kinds of things around retail for that. We also need to do a lot of education amongst youth and healthcare workers and even adults around cessation options and support, future harms, those kinds of things as well too. So it's really a great framework will include a number of things, but those would be the three key elements for sure.
Lung Saskatchewan CEO Erin Kuan, one of two guests that I've got on. Erin, I'm not a smoker, and so I have to say I'm a guy that was led to believe that vaping was a better option. I know it's not perfect, but more and more I'm reading, and this is part of what you're talking about, that vaping is maybe just as hazardous as smoking. Is that factual?
Absolutely. So everything that Lung Saskatchewan and other allied health charities do is always based in scientific evidence. And so the tricky thing about vaping right now is that it is still, even though it's been around for well over a decade, we're still gathering evidence on what the long-term effects are. So it hasn't been around long enough to actually see what the 20, the 30, the 40-year effects are like we now know with smoking. But what we are seeing is the amount of nicotine that can actually be consumed through vape products is actually incredibly strong and dangerous. And so any smoking cessation service or product has to be endorsed by Health Canada, and currently vaping is not endorsed. It is not a Health Canada approved product, so we're always hesitant to say that it's not as bad as, because there are thousands and thousands and thousands of chemicals just in one vape. And at the end of the day, Evan, as we all know, your lungs are only meant to inhale one thing, and that's clean air.
All right, Erin Kuan, one of two guests that I've gone on. I want to bring my second guest into the conversation, Kerri Mossing, an ambassador for Lung Saskatchewan. Kerri, can you start off by telling us you're an ambassador because of some personal circumstances that you have gone through in your life? Can you tell us a bit about your story?
Yep, for sure. In 2019, I was actually diagnosed with stage 2 lung cancer, and as a lifetime non-smoker, that obviously was highly concerning. And talking to my oncologist and doing all of the testing and everything, they sort of declared then that the really only possible explanation for my cancer was radon exposure. So at that time, I became highly interested in learning more about radon and the effects of it, and that's when I got connected with Lung Saskatchewan and started doing some research and ambassador work with them.
Can you share with us, we've talked about radon gas on our program, but it was quite a few months ago. What is radon gas, and how does it enter our houses?
Radon gas is formed from the breakdown of uranium in the soil. And so in Saskatchewan, we obviously have lots of uranium. And so as that breaks down, then radon is formed, and it gets into your house basically anywhere that your house meets the soil. So cracks or gaps in your foundation walls, there's, construction areas, pipes, your sump pump, anywhere that the house meets the soil, radon can get into your home.
And is it a constant seeping in? Some people might ask the question, can you open doors and windows to clean your house out, or is it more constant, more regular than that?
There's always going to be some level of radon in your home, and it will fluctuate. It fluctuates sort of daily and with the seasons. Yes, so when you do open doors and windows during the warmer months, you will tend to see lower levels in your home. And then, so we recommend that you should test your home during the cooler months because you're more closed up. And that's when the concentrations will definitely be higher.
Kerri Mossing is my guest, an ambassador for Lung Saskatchewan, talking about the impact radon gas can have in your home. The good news is that it's quite easy and fairly inexpensive to test, isn't it?
It's very easy. There's you can go to homeRadonTest.ca to order a long-term test kit, and testing starts at $65. So very easy to test your home.
And it's not a one-time test, am I right? You have to test over a period of time?
Yes, that test is a 3-month test. So we recommend long-term testing because, as I said, the levels can fluctuate quite dramatically. So you can do an electronic radon monitor, but then you want to watch it over a period of time.
Mm-hmm. You mind throwing that website out? Home Radon Kit, was it? Is that what it was?
HomeRadonTest.ca.
Okay, good stuff. Place that you can go. Is there parts of the province, I'm guessing there are, where it might be a bigger problem just because of the makeup of the soil?
We do put out the numbers sort of that in Saskatchewan, we'd say about a third to a quarter of the homes, but in Regina and sort of more southern parts of the province tend to show numbers more like half of the homes.
It's fairly significant.
Significant, yeah.
And if you are found to have a high radon gas reading in your home, what is the fix? What do you do?
You would get a CNRPP certified radon mitigation company to install a radon mitigation system in your home, and it's takes a day typically to do it, and it's a fan that is connected to a pipe that goes under the slab in your basement, and it draws the air out of the house and puts it out into the outside.
All right. Well, we appreciate you being here to share. How is your health right now, Kerri?
It's awesome, and I have celebrated my 5 years cancer-free, so that's very exciting for me.
Yeah. Well, that is exciting. We're happy for you for that. We're also proud and appreciative of the work that you're doing as an ambassador for Lung Saskatchewan. So thank you for joining us today, Kerri.
Thank you very much.
Erin Kuan, Lung Saskatchewan CEO. Your website, great repository of a variety of things. Where can people find you online?
Absolutely. Lungsask.ca for all things education, prevention, advocacy, health promotion, and research.
Good stuff. Well, Erin, we've appreciated having both of you on the program today. Thanks for your time, continued great advocacy work, and thanks for making a difference in our province.
Thanks so much, Evan.
Erin Kuan, Lung Saskatchewan CEO. And again, by the way, I saw a text online. I missed where I can get the radon test kits. It's homeRadonTest.ca, where you can get access to these test kits and then go from there after you do. It's a 3-month test and reading of the radon gas levels in your home. And then from there, experts will be able to help you determine if any further steps are needed. But a great reminder of the importance of taking care of those things when we have someone like Kerri Mossing on our program, for sure. You're listening to 980 CJME and 650 CK.